Dame solo una noche para acostarme a tu lado. Voy a besarte la boca y enamorarme de tus labios. Dame solo una noche para acostarme a tu lado, y cuando grites mi nombre sentirás cuánto te amo. Es que en un beso y nada más tú puedes llevarme a donde quiero estar. Y con una mirada intensa me librarás de esta pena de amar. Yo solo quiero una noche, una caricia, una mirada, un beso, una sonrisa de tu cara, 2 palabras de tu boca que me hagan sentir muy bien, que me enseñen que como mujer no te falle. Y es que me encanta tu perfume, el dulce aroma de tu piel, las caricias de tus manos que me hacen sentir muy bien, esa sonrisa encantadora y tu forma de reír. Son todas esas cosas las que me atraen a ti.
Oh my gracious.
Even back in high school, Jennifer inspired more than
Cambié la imagen por vender bitcoins.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga.
I can't even believe it.
I can't wait till you have your own lot with your like own little production.
That's what I want to do.
Bien Oprah. Bien
Oprah.
Oprah,
Just
for
give me
real.
Oprah.
Bien Oprah.
Oh my God,
Bien
Chachi.
Yeah, man. So technically everything changed. I mean, January 2018.
2018
January 2018, literally. Like,
was when we started. So we got to tell them the story.
Well, I mean, yeah. So we can't talk too much because then we won't be able to get it.
We started.
Again.
Yeah,
We started. Hi, welcome to Growing Up Latina. I am your co-host, Chachi.
Oh my God, Chachi.
Yes. So
La Chachi.
right. So that's actually what we're gonna name the album. Because there's always been this thing with my name and Chachi, and even if I put music out prior to with Grizel del Valle, I'd be on the, like, let's say Telemundo or at a festival, and they're presenting me, and they're like, Chachi. And I'm like, oh my God, you didn't see ese Grizel del Valle there? Like, you really just not gonna, so.
Is that weird for you though, when they don't say like your full like Grizel del Valle?
You know what it is? It's not weird. It's not weird because it's like most of these people know me or they've known of me. And so
Right.
it's like when you know someone, like you're Ali V, and then all of
Right.
a sudden you're coming out and you're like,
Alexandra Ventura.
you know, ¿quién? ¿Quién es esa? ¿Cómo se la conocen? So with me, Grizel del Valle, I mean, I think it's a great name, and there's not another Grizel del Valle or another Grizel, let's say, that's out there. And there was a lot of like Chachis, like the dancer Chachi Gonzalez,
Yes.
DJ Chachi. And so it's like a name of love and of endearment, right? And so it's like I tried to divorce it, but it didn't allow me to.
No.
And so how do I like intertwine it with everything? So La Chachi is going to be the name of my first album.
Wow.
And it's also Chachi, or in Spain, for example, they talk a little different to Spanish. And so Chachi is like, la pasaste Chachi, like you kind of like, you had a great time, right? Like you had so it's more of like a uplifting kind of name. And I'm like,
I feel like it's a personality.
yeah, it works.
Like there's times where I call like some of my good girlfriends, I'd be like, Chuchi, Chuchi. So when I call you Chachi, I feel like that's just like, like to describe your personality is to
Right.
say Chachi.
Right.
She's Chachi.
Right.
She's
right.
La Chachi. Like,
Right. And then it's like, but then you see me go on stage and I do a number like Una Noche and you're like, whoa. But then towards the end, Chachi comes out because she always comes out. She's always, so there's so much to talk about and I'm just so excited to be here.
So for the people that are listening,
We started for real.
No, we started for real. For the people that are listening on the audio, Chachi came in and switched up the set.
I mean,
I'm sitting on my opposite end, which is not the side that I usually
it's
sit
not
on.
her good side.
It's
She
not-
says.
I always say it's not my. The girls know what I mean. There's a good side and there's a.
Of course. I
There's
know what you mean.
there's a okay.
But I guess now I give you the validation that other people have given me when they're like, baby, your whole side is the good
It's
side.
the good
So
side.
you good no matter what. You know? So you good.
So
You good over there.
So she came in, she changed the set. She is my first, and I hate to say it,
Why?
but she's the first, should we say repeated guest, returning guest? Returning guest. Yeah, repeated just sounds
A
crazy.
lot has happened.
A lot has happened. So for those of you that do not know, Growing Up Latina actually started 6 years ago. Right? 6 years ago. If the math is mathing in my head, I don't know.
December 2017.
December 2017. That's crazy. And I don't remember how I even contacted you. I swear I don't even I'm drawing a blank. Like,
So I believe you had gone to see the I Like It Like That musical.
yes.
So you knew me from the musical.
Oh my
and
God.
So you and I believe someone else, Jasenia, interviewed
Yes.
Tito Nieves and I.
Yes,
remember?
yes.
And then from there, you're like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this idea, Growing Up Latina. And
Yes.
I was like, okay, I'm down. And then,
And I interviewed the whole cast, remember?
right. But that
After
one,
the play.
yes, I think you took turns because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was just me and Tito with you and Jasenia.
Yes. Was that the first interview that we did, or was it the play and I actually interview all the cast?
You probably,
the cast
I think you
members.
probably did all the cast on stage.
That's what I did.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you brought in me and Tito, and it was you and Jasenia.
Yes.
And then afterwards, you pitched the idea, and you was like, I'm thinking of doing something. And I was like, yes, let's do it. Hurricane Maria happens.
Yes.
And then I returned from serving on the island, and I had an email from you. You were,
See?
you were going to do your first episode.
Oh my God.
You didn't call it a podcast, though. You
No,
called it
it was just like a video interview, and I
A
said
vlog.
a vlog, and I said I really want to do this show called Growing Up Latina,
Right.
and you were so nice to me. I remember, and you was like, "Yes, let's go."
Absolutely. Because if we don't have, platforms where we see people that look like us or hear our stories, we have to create them. And so I saw that opportunity, and I saw that that avenue that you were trying to create for us and Latinas, and I saw your vision. So I was like,
Yes.
absolutely, let's go. And now I sit back and I see all the incredible women that you've brought onto this platform, and I'm so very proud of you.
Thank you.
Because if you've accomplished so much in these past, let's say 5 years, I can only imagine what the next 5 is going to bring. So
Thank
I'll be
you.
back. I'll be back.
Oh, I already know. So when we did that interview, so let's kind of recap it
Right,
for everyone. So you go to Puerto Rico,
Right.
which this was insane.
Right.
This was actually like one of my favorite parts of the interview because I had cut to the video. But you go to Puerto Rico, and everything was fine at first, right?
Totally fine.
Everything was fine. And then here in New York, I'm hearing there's a hurricane category 4 is about to approach Puerto Rico.
And then
And
category
you
5.
are on Instagram stories.
Dancing
you
bomba.
dance.
I was taking pictures. I was
Yes.
jumping off of boats. There was no TV at the apartment that we were renting out, and it was crazy. We were one of the last flights that left the island, and then that's when the real work started because that photo shoot changed my life. That photo shoot, and I said it before, it gave me almost 20,000 followers like overnight, and then the video came out. And then that was just a simple little photo shoot that we decided to do the Friday before Hurricane Maria. And I was like, I'm going to save this picture for something beautiful or something great. When I land, the photographer had already posted it. And I was like, oh, okay, so he didn't listen to me. I was like, okay, then there's that. And
Yeah.
I felt compelled to repost it.
Mm-hmm.
Through that photo, we were able to send and help so many people on the island. And it's unfortunate that something so sad or, like a hurricane that brings so much destruction had to happen in order for me to be, I don't know, a little bit more popular when it comes to social
Yeah.
platforms.
I think it was the timing of it all.
But it was a
It was,
divine timing because I
yeah.
used it to, bring in funds. I used it to call in all the forces that we called in to help. And when I tell you, we sent over 250,000 pounds of like water, wheelchairs, medical beds, toiletries, things for seniors, things for babies, formula. Like we literally, and we were boots on ground. So what has come from that maybe you and I didn't get to talk about because it came later is the PTSD that came from pouring so much of yourself and or seeing such situations and or living through certain scenarios. No, I wasn't there for the hurricane, but serving, I remember we were on two big tow trucks and we had all these like boxes of things we were giving away. And one of our tow trucks almost went back. A lot of people don't know there was a lot of crazy things that, went down and or that I saw or stories that I heard. And so when I'm back home, completely comfortable and happy with my family, my loved ones in a warm bed, a dry bed. And I'm eating and feasting with my loved ones. And I'm like, damn, man, these people don't even have like cement on their floors or these people lost all their windows. It's raining again. So there was like this PTSD that I just kept going over there and it would take my appetite.
Wow.
It would make me lose sleep, So that's something that a lot of people don't know, but it's like serving in like a war, It's kind of
Right.
like you see some really devastating things. You hear some really compelling stories of people who maybe tried to commit suicide or they lost,
Crazy.
the mom and dad of the family and now it's just her and her brothers. Like, so it just it made me realize that when I am helping and I'm doing my humanitarian efforts, it is so very important to also help myself and stay grounded because I felt like I stood spiritually grounded throughout that whole time, but I wasn't. It's like your phone. If you don't charge it, it's not going to work.
That's right.
It's not going to work today, tomorrow, the next day, the
Right.
next day. And so I poured so much of me into everything and I left it all over there that when I got here, I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, where to go, how to start again. Like, it was weird.
I think also like it was so like automatic for you. Like you didn't even think about
I
like
didn't.
it was just like you automatically went into that I want to help.
Absolutely.
What can I do?
Absolutely.
Who do I know?
Absolutely. Because I also felt like there was a lot of eyes on me. And if I didn't take that opportunity by hand and really like, be like, come on, I'm taking this opportunity. I'm going to make the best out of this. I didn't think it was going to be as grand as it was. But when you, like I said, I'm very spiritual. And when you ask God to use you and use you as a vessel for his work, then you might have to work with people you're not even cool with, but you got to do the work. You
Right.
gotta, it's what comes with it. And so, it was like a, what is it that they call it? Fight or flight type vibe. And so
Yeah.
my stuff was just like, I need to take care of like all the people we left behind. And till this day, I say that I found my life's purpose, which is, not only the entertainment, my music, that's like therapy and my art, but also being of service to other people who can't do nothing for me.
Right. Did you receive any backlash during that time?
Yes, a lot of people thought that I was putting out the photos of the photo shoot for attention. A lot of people were like, ¿Y esta Kim Kardashian qué se cree?
Wow.
Some people were like, oh, the crazy things people do for clickbait. And if they would have gone in and learned the story or known that the photo shoot was from a Puerto Rican photographer, ironically, the Friday before, and that I came back to the island to serve and that we helped as many people, because when I tell you we helped thousands of families, we helped thousands of families.
Yeah.
And I have paperwork to prove that, So that's the beauty of it. That we're not just talking. Taínas Unidas wasn't just something like, oh, yeah, we said we're going to do this for a year. Una promesa. And we did it. And we did it.
My God, so much has happened. I remember in that interview, my first guest ever on Growing Up Latina, in that interview, you were talking a lot about manifestation. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I think I either texted you or DM'd you. And I said, remember when you were talking about manifestation? How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you manifest?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I asked you at that time because I felt like every vibe that you was putting out was, and it was all good vibes. It was literally like happening for you in real time. And I was watching it go down. And I was like, damn, I wonder, like, because for you to control your mind, that's a skill set,
Right.
right? That means you have to drown out all the noise that's
Right.
happening.
Silence everything.
Silence
And
everything.
the outside world, but also the inside world, because
Right.
there's always so much going on internally.
Right.
Like your internal voice, your little girl, your ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so sometimes we get caught up in the I'm gonna do this, and then the little voice in the back of the head says, you can't do that. That's
Right.
gonna flop. You're gonna, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be a smack. You're not gonna accomplish anything. So it's silencing all the outside voices, and then also silencing all the inside voices,
Right.
and tuning in
Right.
to what you want, but that's already on its way. So it's actually like when I sit to manifest, or like to pray, or to speak to the universe, I'm actually already in a place of gratitude, because it's already on its way to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I, like, the Grammy's already on its way.
That's right. That's right.
You know, like there's
Yeah.
so many things that are already on their way. And I used to speak like this about a husband, and finding someone that I could, like, you know, emotionally and physically and spiritually match my energy and my effort and my vibe and my frequency. And so I kind of manifested my husband. Like, I remember writing a letter to the universe where I was very specific. Like, I wanted a family man.
Oh, the Chachi
hardworking.
prayer.
Yeah,
The way
family
Sierra
man.
got her prayer, this is the Chachi
The
prayer. How do
Chachi-
you get a man? How do you keep a husband?
Well, can I be honest with you? And I've said this a couple times prior to, before Kelvin came into my life, I was celibate for 2 years. And a lot of my power for manifesting came from that celibacy. Because I wasn't sharing or letting nobody tap into my energy.
Right.
I wasn't, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what profession you're in. Yeah, I didn't want anyone, or vamos a decir un vago,
Right.
or alguien that is not motivated and driven. And
Right.
so I was very specific with the universe, and very specific with that letter that I wrote. And I wrote it in gratitude, like literally thanking God and the world for already giving me what I really, really needed. And December 2018, I met Kelvin.
Wait, hold on. Now I have questions.
Dum, dum,
Hold
dum.
on, girl. Hold on. Because when I first interviewed you, you were definitely single.
Totally single.
You were single, I remember.
And I was already in my celibate. I was already celibate.
So from the time that I interviewed
And let me
you-
just say something real quick. I am a very sexual person. So for me to say that I was celibate, that takes a lot of discipline, a lot of self-respect, a lot of love for myself, a lot of forgiving myself for things I've done. Or, you know, like, it took a lot of, like, internal work. Some people say, oh, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. The work is ugly. It's not always pretty and cute or whatever.
Right.
But I just say that to say it was very difficult. It wasn't an easy peasy stroll down the park. Like, there was temptation. Every time I was close to getting something I wanted, temptation came to knock on the door. But I made sure that I stood focused on what the tunnel vision and what the bigger purpose was. And I'm happy I did that, because, I mean, I'm married.
But wait, but how do you, what, you just make a decision and say, okay, starting Monday, starting the first of the month, like, how does that go down? How do you make that decision?
No. I think it came from my last situation.
Okay.
My last situationship.
Right.
So I felt like I went out of my norm for that, and it was, I kind of, like, didn't recognize myself in a weird way, and I didn't like that person. When I sat myself down to sit down and look at my movie, let's say, I didn't like the person I was becoming. I didn't like
Were
it.
you, like, angry? Like, what?
No. It was
Like, what did you see in yourself that you, I guess, didn't like? And you don't have to, like, because, you know.
Right. It just how we share so freely ourselves with people, whether it's intimate, whether it's time, whether it's entertaining, a text or someone's energy, let's say.
Right.
And so that one in particular, kind of like when I really needed a person to speak to, because I was in a really dark place after Hurricane Maria, that person was nowhere to be found, and or was very dismissive, and or I thank God that I was strong, because if I
Right.
wasn't, and I was in such a dark place, something could have gone weird,
Right, right,
or different.
right,
A scenario could have played out totally different.
right.
So, and I didn't like that. Like, I felt like I needed to own my own power. I felt like I wanted to be very picky on who I shared myself with. Like I said, intimate wise, energetically, who I surrounded myself with. I detox my social platforms from time to time, not because I don't like people, or because if I'm not feeling what you're posting, I don't want that to be the first thing I see,
Right.
or I don't want that as part of my movie.
Yeah, you was curating your energy.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So I was just very picky, and I kind of like, it was the best work I've done. I literally, January of 2018, Sergio George calls me to do a Celia Cruz tribute with him and Tony Sucar, which is on YouTube. It has a little over 4 million views right now.
You said
Sergio
that
George
so.
was
You said that so humbly, by the way.
Sergio,
Like,
Sergio's been somebody on my radar, somebody that I've always wanted to work with. And so he had been a pianist in a band, or like popped in one time while I was at Lehman College. And I was like, oh my God. And I guess that made him feel that, okay, she could pull off the Celia tribute. So Warner was doing honoring him for being there for 20 years, and they wanted his Celia catalog. And so he did that and a little bit more, and it was incredible. And from there, I met my manager, who called me out of nowhere, like through DM, let's say, and she's like, hey, Melissa Marin. She's like, hey, where's your website? Where can I know more of you? And I was like, I don't have a website. She was like, your voice, tell me you have music. And I'm like, yeah, but not really like my own stuff. It's stuff that I've helped people, or I've worked on, or I've, done backgrounds for this. And she's like, girl, we need to talk.
Right,
She's like,
right.
when are you gonna be in Florida? And so I was like, ironically, I'm going to be with Sergio George in a couple, like next week, I think it was. And
Right.
she was like, all right. I literally landed, went straight to her. We did a photo shoot, literally. We did like maybe 5 looks. I went to the rehearsal with Sergio, came back. We got so much content, like the way we vibed. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. I always say that she was God's gift to me, because he knew where I was, and he knew all the, like, my dreams and my visions and what the little girl me has always wanted. And I felt like when he put Melly into my life, we're figuring it out together, like it's beautiful. She was the first person that introduced me to the people that I did my first song with, that I released, Deja de Ver, with Brian and Charlie Marciano and Maroon Rhythms. And she literally gave me like all her resources.
Right.
With no
Right.
ego, no judgment, no, she like just, I want to help you, like asking me for nothing, like.
Right.
And so in early 2020, I was like, you know what, Mel, we've been doing really good. I think we should, like, make this serious. Like, I respect you, I respect your work. I'm like, how about we do paperwork for this, and let's, we know that there's room for other people to join the team, like booking management
Right,
and
right.
agents and, media this and, so we know that there's ample room on the table. But she's been one of the only people that has been like so hands-on from the very beginning. Her and one of my very dear friends, TJ Bones, who
Love
does
him.
everything
Yeah.
and anything for me. And it's like those two are my like most solid members right now. I have a great friend, Giovanna Perez from Tesa Entertainment, who she's always put me in the right rooms with the right people, and she's worked with a lot of A-list, high caliber clientele.
Yeah.
But when I sit down to really think of like the nitty gritty, who's stressing with me, who's sweating with me,
That's
who's
right.
crying with me, who's,
That's
really trying to figure it out, is like, my Mel and Bones. So
What has she taught you?
Mel, patience, little grasshopper, patience.
Yes, yes.
Patience, and to trust, because I have a vision, but other people also have visions, and she has a vision that I just admire and love, because I feel like she's bold and she does things that I would never. Like, she'll take patterns, different patterns, and she'll be like, this with this with this, and I'm like, that doesn't match. But then she puts it on me, and I'm like, but it looks fucking cool.
Right,
I like
right.
the way
Yeah.
it looks. So
And you're taking chances.
right,
and that's
right.
good.
Patience, she's a very God-driven woman as well. So we like to incorporate, prayer and that blessing into everything we do. And I see how she's poured not only into me, but to other talents. And it's admirable. It's good to
Yeah.
have great people who have good intentions and good energy on your team, because not always do you find people like that,
Right.
Sometimes there's ulterior motives and, people who want to
Not my
take
phone ringing.
advantage.
Hold on 1 minute.
Oh, if it's not your mother, you better.
Ivy, I'm interviewing Chachi right now.
You're on the podcast, babe. Hi. You too, mommy. I love you. Hey, I have something big coming to SOBs in October. I'll DM you. Oh, we celebrating. The turn up is real.
Yes. All right.
All
Call me
right.
back.
I will.
Bye.
All right, bye.
That was our very dear friend.
That's
Ivy.
Ivy Rivera. She was on the show, and she supports you heavy,
love
by the
her.
way.
Right, and she's
So heavy.
and we've only been like in the same room, I would say like maybe twice. And not even like it's weird how some people that don't even know you support you harder than the people that rock
Isn't
with
that
you.
crazy?
It's crazy.
Why
very
is that?
crazy.
Why
I don't know,
is
because
that?
people,
But wait.
misery enjoys company, ¿verdad? Pero it's not always about the misery stuff. It's sometimes, I love you. I want to see you do great. But when you're doing great and better than them, it affects people. It's the ego.
It's the ego.
It's the ego. And so many times we can't check ourselves and be like, why are you bothered right now? Like, why are you triggered?
Right.
What's making you feel triggered right now?
Right.
And so, but it's okay because when I do what I do or when you do what you do, we shouldn't do it for for anyone else but ourselves. Like it should be gratifying to us more than to anybody else. And now if they enjoy it and they love it and they rock it, then great. But I'm not going to sit here and drive myself crazy.
Correct.
If y'all don't rock or y'all don't see the vision or y'all don't want to be part of this.
But that's why I find it so dope that you have a female manager.
Yeah.
Because it just shows that two females can work together.
Two Leos, two fire signs.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm a July Leo and she's an August Leo. And there's never been any, in these years that we've known each other, there has never been an argument. I think maybe one conversation where I was like, I don't think I really enjoyed the way, but we know how to communicate with one another. And we know timing.
Timing is
being
everything.
impeccable with that timing, knowing when and when not to.
Right.
Because, something that could be minute, if you bring it up at the wrong time, could explode into something crazy. But if you catch the person at the right time, it's like, hey, remember?
It's timing and wording for me.
Right. Approach, right? Approach.
Yes.
Your tone. Because if you come to me and you high-pitched and I'm going to be like, whoa, I'm going to take my earrings off and be like, espérate, que esta quiere pelear. Take my shoe off. Hold on.
Right.
Saca la vaselina. But, no. She's awesome. She's awesome. And so 2018 turned into an incredible year. Like I met Mel. I worked with Sergio. I worked with Tony Zucar. Romeo. I worked with Romeo. I worked with Don Omar. I toured with the guys. Literally, that was what funded the album. So what you guys are going to hear and what it's a production that I literally sweated for.
Yeah.
I cried. I was tired. There was times where, my back ached or I fell in Mocha. I had a big old crazy scar in my knee.
Oh my God.
So it's literally like the blood, sweat, and tears. Like it is all poured into every single record that I have decided to put in La Chachi. And I'm so very proud of it, not only because I've produced this financially myself, but because it's like pages to my life story, pages to my diary in different times of my life. When it was great, when it was not great, when it was I don't know what it is, but I like it. Like so it's they're all so very personal, all of them. So they're all like my little babies. And how ironic that I was able to finish that project while pregnant.
Well, hold on before we get there.
And then we got there.
So much has changed, right? So then you got married.
I got married.
Had a baby.
I had a baby.
Like,
I know. But it was perfect. It was perfect. My son is exactly what
I was gonna say, how did that happen? But we know how it happened. But
a little practice.
We know how it happened. But is this something that you always said, hey, I want to be a mom? Like, how does this?
I always had the maternal instinct in me. I take care of people. I like to take care of people, right? So I've always been the one to like take care of my friends and everybody around me. So I knew that I had that maternal thing to me. Did I project my child happening a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? No. because I was like so in it to win it when it came to my project, and I was
Right.
so very ready. But God doesn't make mistakes, especially when it comes to timing.
Yeah.
And Eden came into my life exactly when I needed him. He's been the biggest blessing.
So adorable. He's so cute.
Kelvin is an incredible partner. I think that's the difference, that with all the other guys that I had dated or seen myself with or, had relationships with, I never saw myself giving any of them a child.
Right.
None of them. None of them.
None of them.
Ninguno.
But for some reason,
But
Kelvin.
for some reason, when Kelvin came into my life,
And can you break down real quick how he came into your life? I need to understand this part.
So,
Was it a look? Did you see him in a club?
no,
Was it
ironically, so Chef Kelvin and I had been
Chef
following each other's journey for a really long time. So we were social media friends.
Okay.
Never met in person. I had invited him to some of my shows. He had invited me to like some of the restaurants that he was working at, La Marina, the Strand.
Right.
But I was always so busy. He was always so busy. We just kept missing each other. That was God. There was a reason as to why
Right.
we met when we met, because if we would have met any sooner, he was not going to be ready. I probably would have killed him. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Kelvin?
No. I'm joking. I'm an actress, guys.
Right,
Relax. So
I mean, but did you feel like if he would have come into your life sooner, would you have been ready for that?
no, absolutely not. I wasn't
Really?
done.
That's real.
I wasn't done.
That's
I was,
real.
exploring, learning,
Right.
growing.
Right,
you know,
right.
so it was perfect timing. It had
Right.
it had to happen the way it did.
Okay.
So when we finally met, a friend, Marcel, had a
Mm-hmm.
birthday party. She had like a spa birthday party. She's an influencer.
nudies.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So she invited a couple of like influencer people.
Mm-hmm.
She invited Kelvin, or hired him to like cater the
Mm-hmm.
event. I didn't think there was gonna be more food because there was already like, little, empanadas
Yeah.
and arequipes and stuff. So I'm like, oh, there's food.
Right.
But there was a sit down dinner at the end, which was really cool. So I'm in the kitchen with Kiana, sipping on some wine, and in
Yes.
walks Chef Kelvin, and I looked at him, and I looked at my wine because I was like, maybe I should stop drinking. Because I felt like energetically,
Right.
I was like, it like his energy captivated me, and I hadn't felt like that in a long time. So I'm
right.
like, maybe I should stop drinking. I've been here for a while, and Bute, I had like maybe 2 glasses of wine. And of course, I was kikiing with my sister Kiana, and we don't see each other often. So when we
Right.
do see each other, there's a lot to fill each other in on.
Right.
She had never met Kelvin either, and same thing. She had always like tried to contact him to work on some stuff together.
Right.
So it was just a dope moment for all of us because we finally got to meet him.
Right.
And I'm looking at this man in his element, and I am just like, I love to see like bosses. Like
Right,
I like a
right.
boss, and that turns me on. So I'm seeing him like very much in control of that kitchen. Like he made that kitchen his. And I was
Right.
like, okay, I was impressed. I was like, and it smells great in here. Espérate. So it was just a cool vibe and a like just fresh air, and it was noticeable. And so then like a week later, he was teaching us on his live how to do Instagram lives. Had just started around that time, how to do a flan de coco, and I took notes. I've actually done it for my friends. It's like
Nice.
it's a good one. And then like a couple days after that, he was doing a skirt steak with a chimichurri sauce, and I started taking notes. But then he started talking really really fast, and it just went into something else. And I was like, I can't. So I threw the notebook, and I was like, I'm not doing this. And I just very ballsy, I wrote, "Marry me."
What?
And
What do you mean? Wait, you DM'd this?
No, in the live.
Oh, you
On the live.
you commented on the live, marry me?
Marry me. And look at the camera. And the girl he was dating, took a screenshot and sent it to him.
No.
And she asked who was China Nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not China,
China
Nation.
Nation.
Right. So
China Nation.
So when she sends him the photo, he's like, no, that's Chachi Nation. Like, no, that's totally cool. Like, no,
Right.
it's not even. But it showed, I guess, aside from her, that he wasn't feeling her whatnot. So he contacted me. He was like, hey, he DMs me. He's like, he sends me the screenshot.
Oh my God.
And he's like, don't flirt with me because you hungry. I was like, oh. He's also a Leo.
Oh my God.
So I'm surrounded by nothing but fire.
Right, right.
So he's also a Leo, and then so I told him, I said, no, I was like, how about we go on a date? And I was like, maybe you don't have to cook
You
for
were
me.
very
I was like, you don't have to
bold.
cook. You don't have to cook for me. But think about it. Why not be bold? I'm
Right,
an independent boss, entrepreneur, getting her own money, traveling the world,
Right.
single for 2 years, enjoying all these beautiful things in life, solita.
Right.
So a part of me didn't want to continue to live my life solita, let's say. And I did say jokingly, I didn't really mean like marry me,
Right.
because though I knew there was some type of like chemistry or some type of something there,
There was there, yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not gonna like. So he's like, oh, well, he's like, I'm not gonna cook for you for like the first 5-6 dates. And I remember Raina was doing my hair and makeup, and she's like, why
shout
you
out to him.
laughing? Like, why you? And I'm like, yo, he's very sure of himself, Deke, 4 or 5 dates. I'm like, lucky if he gets through one, right? Just because I know
Right.
me and I know how picky I was, or not picky, but I was just not beat for settling.
Right,
Like, I was
right.
like, I'm not getting any younger, and I know what I bring to the table, and I know who I am, and
Right.
I just want somebody to match my energy. And then we went out and we started dating, and then it turned into, like, he matched my energy. Like,
So when did you know? Was it from that moment that you said marry me that he could be the one, or was it after a couple of dates?
I think it was
Where-
after a couple of dates.
Where you was like, he's the one.
Nah,
he's the
after a
one.
couple of dates, when I saw that he could hold a good conversation,
Right.
that he was funny, that he was a family man. Our first trip together was to Greece. I was on tour with Don Omar, so I was already in Spain and Europe and that side of the world. And he's like, our birthdays are coming up, and I was like, I know. Ironically, I'm out here, and he's like, well, how about we go somewhere? And I was like, I don't want to go all the way back to New York to come all
Right.
the way back. Like, where do you want to go? And he was like, well, Greece is. I was like, Greece, go ahead with your bad
Yes.
self. So he took me to Santorini. He took me to
Oh my
Mykonos. He
God.
took me to Athens. And I remember thinking, I'm like, this would have been the perfect trip for like an engagement, or like, because it's so dreamy and just
Yes,
beautiful.
yes.
But it was nice that we were able to get to know one another as well, and kind of like, it's the first trip we said we loved each other in Greece. Go
Oh
figure.
my God, I love that.
It's so cheesy.
I love that. But wait, so when did he cook for you? When was the first time? And what did he make?
No, so he was at the time at Last Lap.
Okay.
And so I went to see him there for one of my homegirls' birthdays. We were like, let's go to Last Lap, let's support. And, and then another time, And then another time he asked me to like meet him at the restaurant. And so I met him, and another friend as well came with me. Cause I was like, still trying to get to know him. And
Yeah.
I knew he was working, and he cooked for me, and I was like, wow, this is really freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But I also had some of the food that night at Nudi's birthday.
Yeah.
So I had already kind of like had his cooking. It was his chicken and waffles for me.
We love that.
It was that's what
We
it
love
was.
that.
That's what it was.
We love that.
That's
Oh
what it
my
was.
God.
And then, like I said, we
And then
we started
somehow,
dating.
yeah, you like get
We started
engaged. Like,
dating.
what the hell?
We started dating. I was taking it, very serious, because, like I said, I wasn't at a place of wanting to play games, and I was very transparent with him. Like, I'm at a place in my life. I'm this age. I'm at a place in my life that I would like to settle down. I would like to, like, have a partner.
Right,
You
right.
know, not do it alone. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've always felt like either it goes great for the career aspect of my life, and then the love life not so much, and then,
Right.
or vice versa. And so here I feel like there is a beautiful harmony, a harmonic balance, where we push each other to scary limits when it comes to our fields. And he does it to me, I do it to him. Like, what are you doing now? What are you doing next? When's the next song coming out?
Right.
Even during like my maternity leave, I called it. He was like, he was always very patient and awesome. Like,
Right.
not rushing me to come back, because he really wanted me to feel like myself, before I even decided to take that step. But listening to some music on the radio and just listening to music in general, he's like, oh my God, babe, hurry up and put this album out. This trash. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I know.
So the
But,
first time I've actually seen you guys together, this was the first time I found out that you guys were, I don't even know if you guys were officially, had to be, you guys were officially a couple at this time. You did your Winter Wonderland, right?
Winter Wonderlust.
Yeah, Winter Wonderlust, right? It was my birthday that day. So I was like, no, I have to see Chachi on my birthday. Like, I made all of my friends, I'm like, no, we're getting a table. I have to see Chachi. I said, Chef Kelvin's, he's going to be there as well. I want the coquito. So I'm like naive. I'm like, yeah, this is great. It's a great combination. Like, who would have thought? And then you finish performing and he goes on stage and I see a kiss and I'm like, well, what the I'm like, what just happened? And I'm like, they're together?
Yeah. So technically, remember, we met December 2018
Mm-hmm.
and we dated all 2019, but we kept it
Right.
undercover
Right.
because he's a public figure. I'm a public figure.
Mm-hmm.
So many relationships, you don't really know if it's going to last, if it's going to work, if it's going to. So we were just precautious for his image, for my image. I had never posted a man on my platform ever. So when I kind of posted him, my friends were like, "Oh, this is serious."
Right.
I'm like,
Like,
"Oh,
what is-
okay." One of my Joy, she called me, "Mira." And I'm like, she's like, "¿Qué espérate, ¿qué pasó?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Nothing. It's good. It's cool. Everything's great." So, yeah, like we dated all 2019, and then we decided to work together in December. So we created Winter Wonderlust, which was a burlesque show, which
Yes.
we are thinking of bringing back.
You must.
Now, 2023, December.
You must.
December 2023. We're already looking for a location for that. And I challenged him, and he says that he thought I was crazy because we got this, like, we saw different restaurants, and I was not happy because it didn't go with the vision that I had for the burlesque show.
Mm-hmm.
And so we found this area, this spot on 36th Street. It was like a complete white canvas. So
Yes.
we literally transformed it to what we needed it to be. There was no real kitchen. So everything that he made, like, he was like a magician. Like, he really pulled it out of his sleeves because there was no real kitchen for him to, like, do his thing, right? So I was so proud, and he was like, he thought I was crazy. He told me this on the drive back. We sold out the show. Like,
Yes.
within 24 hours, we sold 150 tickets, and then we had to open a second date, and that sold within another 24 hours. So within 48 hours, we sold 2 shows, which was pretty impressive. And I was like, wow, like, I could do that with a week or 2 weeks.
Right.
But with him, I'm like, we do it like it
Quick.
literally flies.
Yeah.
So,
But how is that experience working with your husband? Like, that's
well, I kind of saw him in the kitchen before, so I already saw the boss and I saw
Right.
the characteristics. And when I see Kelvin, I see literally we're 2 different fields, but we're kind of like the same person.
right.
So he's very hands-on. He is a real leader. Like, he's not going to tell you to do something if he's not doing it himself or if he hasn't already done it. Or
Right.
So, and I just, I love how respectful he is. I feel like a lot of chefs have a bad rep in the kitchen. Obviously, when someone gets burned or cut or hurt, you curse because it hurts or whatever the
Of
case
course.
is. But Kelvin is not the disrespectful type of person who's going to insult somebody or call somebody outside of their name, especially in the kitchen.
Right.
And so self-respect and respecting other people, that's what I'm about. And so seeing him in his element and him seeing me with my band and my element and doing what I do and, taking like complete charge of like the whole room on how I wanted the lights, how I wanted the stage, how I wanted the flowers, how I wanted, what I didn't want, what was allowed, what wasn't. Like, it really, like, I guess he saw a side of me that he hadn't seen and I saw a side of him that I hadn't seen. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna freaking work. I was a little nervous to kind of like come out, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is.
You have to bring it back.
And I was proud
have
of
to.
us and
Yes.
happy and like, like power couple, like that kind of like
That's
power
exactly what it
moves,
felt like. Yeah.
So, and I gave him a kiss publicly, and that's when everybody.
I
found
was
out.
like, whoa.
They were like, this burlesque show turned into something
Yeah,
else.
I
real
was
quick.
like, what happened?
People were shocked, but I mean,
I was
we had
very
already,
shocked.
Yeah, like our closest friends,
They
they
knew,
knew.
yeah.
But I feel like we kind of like solidified it for everyone there. And then we continued to date, continued all through the pandemic, and yeah, I just
But then now you're a mom.
yeah, I'm a mom.
That changes everything.
That changed me. That changed
Like how,
everything.
so what are some of the changes that happened there? Because that's like,
There's a lot more.
and you actually shared not the entire journey, but you did share, which we'll get into, like that postpartum.
I'm gonna write a book about that.
You first of all, you must
have
write a
to.
book because you have stories for days.
I
so
do. And well, it's gonna come little by little, right? Because I
Yeah.
feel like there's still so much that I want to happen, and that I want to have in a book. So right now, real talk, the idea is to do my one-woman show next year.
Oh, you would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be,
So
that's going to go crazy. That's going to go crazy.
I'm already in conversation with the producers from I Like It Like That and
I
Celia
love
and
that.
Quien Mató a Héctor Lavoe.
I love
And
that.
so we're already at the drawing table. And so we're projecting for next year. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a very vulnerable piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there a lot of people are going to learn the different layers to me, like with no filter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's the beauty of theater, and that's the beauty of art, that it's just you simply bringing up a mirror to society so that they can see themselves real quick.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like I want to be as authentic to myself as possible. And I know it might make some people clutch their
Right.
pearls. I know it might make some people, want to sit upright and a
Yeah.
little uncomfortable, but I like that. Art is supposed to do that. So, sorry, I went real quick.
No, I love that.
put that in
But
there.
how do you, and that's something that I've always respected about you, how authentic you are. I tune into your lives at 6:00 in the morning. I don't know why. I don't know if you're like this, but I'm always doing this. I actually take a shower with my phone. It's weird.
Okay.
So I have it like doop, right there.
Okay.
And that's usually how I catch up on like my podcasts, my
news and this,
YouTubes and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Chachi, you're in the shower with me, is what I'm saying.
The next live, I'm going to be like, mira, Ali, tápate eso, mi. Tápate.
You're in the shower with me. And I just love to just see you in your element. And girl, like you don't even care. Like you'll be waking up like, all right, so I'm going to go to the gym. And I didn't want to get up out of bed, but here we are.
Right.
How do you make that decision to just say, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to show the real what it is and
Right. I think
and
we're so
show the
caught up.
process, because you really did show that process.
Right. I think
And it wasn't easy.
we
either.
get so caught up in the superficial, right? And with these platforms, these filters, the tweaking of our bodies, whether it's an app that makes me look snatched in the face, or it's an app that I can cinch my waist a little bit because I ate too many empanadas, or whatever the case is. And so I want to show the regular girl, like the one who's struggling, the one who feels like she's suffocating. I want to show her that I am her and she is me, and that you could do anything you put your mind to. That is not easy. That there will be days that you want to quit. There will be days that you're gonna cry. There will be days that you don't feel like getting up, and I'm gonna take a personal day and not do nothing. Ni bañarte. But it's
Right.
that's the
Right.
reality, and that reality is the beauty that makes us human beings. You know what I mean? Like, people don't put their problems on the gram or on social platforms. People don't put when they're struggling, when they're depressed, when they're about to commit suicide, when they're about to do crazy stuff. Some people do, and it is a cry for help. Before I used to be like, oh, that's just for attention. But that is a cry for help, because that's probably their last lifeline. So I just want people to see me and be like, damn, this girl, she's me. Like, that's what I look like when I wake up in the morning, hincha. You know, like some people be like, that que nota, the my eyes look chinky. I'm like, I've always had chinky eyes. The people that know me know that when I cry, my eyes get so chinky and froggy looking. It looks like I smoked a blunt. But the people that know me know that. Like Raina, she'll be like, you was crying. Mel, you was crying. And because they know how my features or whatever. So I just want to show people that it's okay to be normal. It's okay to have problems. It's okay to have self-doubt. It's okay to, not feel your best, but it's also not okay to stay there.
Right.
And what are you going to do to change that situation? What are you going to do to transform? Or what are you going to do to take you out of your uncomfortable zone, right? So I feel like in being authentic, and there was a part of me before the pandemic that I feel like I wasn't being authentic to myself when I started releasing the music that I started releasing in 2019 and in 2018, because I was being influenced by the people that I was on stage with, the people that I was around. And so I think it was a beautiful thing that as a writer, I was able to channel that into what it was that I was creating.
Right.
So, but at the same time, when the pandemic happened and I sat down with myself and I thought, damn, if this is really the end all of end all, right? Like, let me play my story back. Let me play my life back, right? And I was so very grateful from all the stages that I had been on, for all the colleagues, all the people I came across. Like, every person from a sound tech to a lighting tech to photographers to like literally I thought of everybody, and I just thank God for everyone. And then I also said, damn, but this music doesn't really represent me. Like when you go to one of my live shows, that girl's not there.
Yeah.
Because who I am in person, my voice, my sound, my like that frequency that this gift God gave me has is energetically something else. So I felt like it was a disservice to be putting out music just to put it out.
Right.
Spending money just to spend it and put videos out. And I mean, creatively, we were growing. The team was learning each other and we were doing great work. But with who I am as an artist and what I want my voice to be, I was still shutting her up. I wasn't really being authentic or true to myself. So that's why when post-pandemic, right? Now, different person, I'm a whole mother. I'm Eden's mother. What? I have a responsibility. My son needs to know exactly who I am, not the representation of who I want people to think I am. No, I want him to know exactly who I am. And my sound and my album, and there were songs that didn't make it. And they're great songs. And I don't mind giving it to a Becky G, or I don't mind pitching it to a Jennifer Lopez, or I don't mind even pitching it to a Carol G. But I wanted La Chachi to be my real voice, so that when you hear La Chachi, the album, and when you go see me live, you're like, that's the same girl.
So what would you say is the difference now? Like, obviously you spoke a little bit about it, but
The
like
voice.
the voice,
the message.
But we hear this all the time. The voice. How do you find your voice? How did you find your voice? Like, how did you tap into that energetically? And then say, all right, this is really what I want to push now.
I had to shut up all those voices in my head that were telling me like that song is not good enough. That was like a song that you wrote 20 years ago. That's not commercial enough. It's a business. It's a music business. Be commercial, be strategic.
You was looking at the industry as a business, and I'm going to put this out because this is what's going to sell. This is what's
selling. This is what's hot.
This is what's hot right now.
This is the vibe. This is what's happening.
So then for you to say, like...
It was like, why am I trying to go into lanes that there are already people there? When I have a whole freaking lane and I'm walking, strutting, skipping, running, and ain't nobody coming to this one. So
that's exactly how I felt about this show.
So why not?
I always felt, for some strange reason, I always went into the hip hop industry, because that's all I know, right? That's how I grew up. I love hip hop music. And I just remember saying, like, I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to go right there. And for some reason, the there was where I found home.
Mira, yeah, right.
Like, this is like where I feel like I thrive. This is where I feel like I'm my most authentic. And it takes years.
You're not nervous.
You're not nervous.
It's like, okay, you're nervous because you're excited and you care about it.
Right.
But you're not nervous like when you're going into something that's just, I think nerves is a way of our body talking to us too.
What? Like what? What
Yeah,
does it say?
like,
What?
like
what do your nerves tell you? Like what the fuck does it say?
No, but like energetically, you haven't been in a room and somebody will walk in and all of a sudden your stomach will start to do something.
Yeah.
Or
I've had that feeling.
Or you're like, why do I feel riled up? Like nothing happened. Everything's great. I got paid today. Like, got some last night. Like I'm happy. Why do I feel? It's energy and people. And so we got to be very careful with, what we surround and who we surround ourselves with.
Correct.
All the time.
How long did it take you to make this project? La Chachi.
I started in January 2018. It's been 5 years.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
And I've done this project with so much respect and integrity to myself. I didn't have to sell myself short. I didn't have to settle. I paid for exactly what I wanted and I got it. I was patient with the process. I'm not doing what people want me to do. I'm doing what I want to do. Because I've also had people in the industry that I admire that would be like, oh, yeah, don't do salsa. That music is not making no money. And then turn around and sign a salsa artist.
And it's like, wait, what?
You just told me not to do salsa.
Right.
Now I'm confuzzled.
Right.
But whatever. But
Right.
I had an awesome conversation one time with Anthony Romeo,
Mm-hmm.
and I was recording. He called me in because he had a remix with Sech and Arcángel for Porque Sigues con él. So I thought he was gonna bring me in
A
here.
girl.
I thought he was gonna bring me in here to sing some shit.
Right.
I'm like, let me. Oh, I'm ready.
Right.
I am ready.
You're
master.
always ready, by the way.
And so 6 a.m. ready. And so he brings me in to do Yo con apetito y la dieta en la cama. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you real? This is what you need me to do? But that day we had our best conversation where we like really got to know one another on a like personal level and on a like, what do you want out of life and vice versa. And he picked my brain, I picked his. And you know, people told him not to do bachata. You imagine Romeo
Like,
not doing bachata? You imagine a world without Romeo?
no.
Exactly.
No, I can't.
And people were telling him when he was younger, like, no, don't do that music. That music doesn't sell. That music is not for young people. That music's not commercial. Eso es barrial, like from the ghettos. Nah. And look at how this man transformed this genre into an international, multi-million-dollar genre. Because I'm sorry, he sold out MetLife with 82,500 people.
Come on.
Okay. And I was there on stage with him. And that was freaking euphoric as fudge.
You've had so many moments in your career.
So many.
It's
I mean,
it's crazy to me.
The fact that I used to, this is going to be part of the show. The fact that I used to see these people while being a fan.
Right.
And looking at them on stage and seeing the girls and being like, I could do that. I could totally do that. And seeing myself up there. But I wasn't being specific with the universe. I was looking at the girls. I wasn't looking at him. So now you have to be specific with the universe. And it's like, no, I want the front. I don't want the 20 feet behind stardom. I want front row and center.
That's right.
Now I'm looking at him. I'm looking at, like, when I went to the Drake concert, I'm looking at Drake. Like, that's the role I want. I know his guy, whatever, but those are the Karol G, you know? I was telling my husband, I'm like, I'm kind of a little bummed that I didn't like get tickets because I've been following her since forever.
So dope.
We've met in different opportunities. She's been so beautiful and humble. She's always taking pictures, like super, like the vibe always so great. I'm like, I'm kind of bummed I didn't do it. And he's like, you want him? I'm like, I think it's sold out, whatever. But seeing her, like, I'm so proud of her. Especially following her journey, and it's not always like beautiful and pretty. Sometimes you have to kind of, you know, go through bochornos and embarrassments and all crazy type stuff. So it's now I'm looking at them like, okay, I'm being very specific with the universe on what it is. Like, I want to be the headliner. I want to be the one selling out. I want to be the one, you know, on a world tour.
How do you know, I've always wanted to ask, because every time I see you on stage, there's like this different person that comes out.
Right.
I don't even know if you have control over this person that I see on stage.
No.
It's crazy. Where does that come from?
So,
And is that nerves that turn into like what we see there? Like, what is that?
It's an adrenaline. It definitely feels like adrenaline in me.
Yo, it's crazy to see.
But I have to be honest, I think that is my ego.
Really?
I think that is, and I think that's why I feel most comfortable on stage, because I do not.
No, you don't. You don't.
And so, and I get that from seeing women, incredible women, like the Celias, like on some Isidro, no me diste el tono.
Yeah.
And they're recording and she's like, el tono.
Yeah.
I ain't starting till you give me the,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
you see La India, you see La Lupe, or, you know, like old school, like these women had like some, just the cojones, you know, like, you know, the Evie Queens, like that royalty, you know, like, and I feel like it's an ego thing that I just let go, and I just allow myself to be
Insane.
And I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna sing. I don't know I don't know if I'm gonna go into dance, if I'm gonna take off my shoes and just start dancing. Like,
Which you've done that as well.
Which I've done.
You've literally kicked off your shoes
my
one
red
time.
bottoms at that. Like, bang,
Yes.
bang, no me importa. And,
Yes.
you know, but that's La
Yes.
Lupe. Anytime I do La Lupe, I try to like evoke her as much as possible and just kind of like, you know, like, just come on, let's do this, you know, because it's not just me up there. Not when I'm representing them.
Right.
And their legacy and their like trajectory and their, you know. So, but I feel like on stage is where I really let my ego be. It's where I just allow myself.
So beautiful.
And I'm happy that you guys, or that you're able to sense the difference of who this person is and then of who that person is, you know?
It's transformative is what happens. Like it's like the polar opposite. And not because you always been fun and like very spicy, but then when you get on stage, it's like something takes over.
Yeah. And I love it.
No, I love it too.
I genuinely love
but
it.
as an audience member, as someone that's watching it go down, it's the feeling that you give us. That's like, it's like the goosies.
And
real talk.
And that's a God-given gift, I have to be honest, because there's no other way to put it. It's something that I've had with me since I was a young girl. Because I've been dancing and singing and acting and since I was a little girl. So it's never been, like, it's not a new thing to me. I sometimes say that I feel more comfortable on stage than I do in real life.
I could see that.
You know, because I feel like up there, it's like I'm in my element.
Yeah.
I'm in my world.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I'm in my world and I'm letting you guys experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like without, you know, doing it behind closed doors, let's say. So
I always say about your voice, there's only a few people that do this for me, where like your voice and the way it sounds, it's like already mixed and mastered. It's like, I would say you, John Legend, is like this. Like John Legend, he could sing right now and it's like, wow, I never heard someone's voice mixed and mastered already. Like it's crazy. And I'm always like, Chachi, sing. Every time Chachi, sing.
I don't
I'm
think
like,
there's been a time
do
where
it.
we've been together where you have not put me on the spot.
I literally always tell you to sing. Always.
I know.
Our last interview.
I know it's coming.
Our dinner. Remember the dinner?
Yes.
I'm
she
like,
had me singing
Chachi,
over music.
Sing.
I'm like, babe, there's mad music
I'm
coming
like,
out the
I don't care.
speakers.
Sing. You got to
Sing.
Sing.
Do it. Okay. I don't know what I'm thinking, but okay.
So Chachi, you know I'm going to ask you to sing.
Well.
Chachi, sing. You have to.
Well, of course. I'll do a little bit of Una Noche, which is my new single that's out. We're really excited because we're gonna do the video for it, and this video is gonna be totally different than any other video I've done before because it's not like an actual treatment. It's gonna actually be a performance video with an audience, and it's gonna be
that's fire.
And it's gonna be at SOBs in October.
Oh,
so I need everybody. If you're seeing this and you support the girl, I need everybody to come out to that because it's gonna be legendary. One, you're gonna be part of history because that video is going to be like a timestamp in time, right?
Yes.
And I'm so happy that the song came out first because so many people have already fallen in love with the song and already have learned the song and already that I feel like it's going to be such a dope moment to have you guys singing it back to me. So I could already see it.
And also, by the way, the looks that you've been serving for this entire project.
Oh, thank you. And it takes a lot because, you know, not feeling very comfortable after pregnancy is a whole other story. But I'm going to give you a little bit of Una Noche. And then, which was a song that I wrote 20 years ago. And I felt it was very important to bring her out as the first song of this project because she's been patiently waiting. Like I've been patiently waiting for my turn. So,
love this.
Yeah, so it goes like this. Let me turn on my mix and master. Like, it goes, dame solo una noche para acostarme a tu lado. Voy a besarte la boca y enamorarme de tus labios. Dame solo una noche para acostarme a tu lado y cuando grites mi nombre sentirás cuánto te amo. Es que en un beso y nada más tú puedes llevarme a donde quiero estar y con una mirada intensa me librarás de esta pena de amar. Yo solo quiero una noche, una caricia, una mirada, Un beso, una sonrisa de tu cara, 2 palabras de tu boca que me hagan sentir muy bien, que me enseñen que como mujer no te falle, y es que me encanta tu perfume, el dulce aroma de tu piel, las caricias de tus manos que me hacen sentir muy bien, esa sonrisa encantadora y tu forma de reír. Son todas esas cosas las que me atraen a ti.
Girl. I'm going to say this right now. You are singing at my wedding.
Okay, of course.
Like, and I know everybody's always asking, how can we get Chachi to sing at the wedding? Like,
You could book
that
me.
was
I'll
so
do it for you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, I swear, like, I get always teary-eyed just when I hear you sing. Like,
Thank you.
there's something that you do to me. Like, it's
Thank you,
crazy.
sis. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
That song is one of my babies. She's 20 years old. She's
She's beautiful.
I wrote it for what I thought was my first love. But then after you go through life, you find out that sometimes it's lust and sometimes it's infatuation. And at 17, I was writing things like that. So she's been with me for so long, and I felt like it was only right that I introduced her to the world, because she is, when you go see me live, she's that girl.
Yeah.
And I felt like the other music wasn't really doing that. And I love the other music, and it's going to be great for festivals and for up-tempo things and for like, but where I feel best and most at home and like comfortable and confident in my instrument is there. Like really telling stories, ballads, like soulful. I look at it like after La Lupe, because Celia was the queen of salsa. But La Lupe actually came and she was doing bilingual music back in the day, like 60s. Yeah. Bilingual. She was on like actual like TV shows, English TV shows. And they named her the Queen of Latin Soul. And I feel like the way Celia has La India, which is the princess, I'm like, I'm going to sit and wait patiently for that title. Because there's a princess of Latin Soul that's missing. Just going to leave that there. So, and I feel like
you
with
manifesting
my music,
in real time,
right,
girl.
with my music and with, these pages of what my soundtrack of my life, my diary have been, I feel like people are going to be really connected. With
How many songs do you have on this album?
That I have, or on this album? Because on
this album I know, girl, I already know you have a Rolodex
right.
of music.
Right now, we have 9.
Okay.
And we're going to do Una Noche en Salsa.
Okay.
So that most likely would be 10. And then there's one more that I want to play with.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's that aspect of me is missing in that project. And in order for it to be well-rounded, I feel like I need to incorporate that. I have a very big Dominican following. And a lot of my followers have come from my work with Romeo. Yeah. And Dominican Republic has always been so nice to me. So, siempre llevo la República Dominicana en mi corazoncito, aunque sea puertorriqueña. I mean, por mi esposo, por el niño, y de amor, I'm like, a little.
Does Eden make a feature on this? Do we get to hear Eden's voice?
Yes, you
will. And
will.
does Eden sing? Like, does he?
He does.
He does?
He sings Moana. He sings all of Moana's music.
Yes.
Like, but he's like, yeah, he's in there. He's so musically inclined, and Kelvin and I just look at each other and we're like, oh my God, like he looks just like Kelvin. So I'm actually happy that he has that musicality to him. Because I'm like, my husband dances and he thinks he's a rapper, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Right.
He's not a rapper. He's not a rapper, guys. He's an incredible chef.
Right.
Baby, stick to your forte. Because rapping is not it for him.
Right.
But yeah, Eden is he loves my music. He's very picky with music, so he loves Mexican style. So anything like Jesse Uribe, like when Carol has her corridos, that kind of music he loves. So Una Noche, he asks me for more with his little sign language. And then there's times where I'm like, oh, I like this record. I'm like, let me listen to that. And he's like, no. In the back of the car. No. I'm going to film him because I swear to God, it's the funniest thing. But, I'm like, he has good taste in music. I could tell already.
You was on live like the other day and you said that someone interpreted that song differently.
I don't want to cry.
That's
Yes. Because when I wrote it, obviously I wrote it for a lover. And right before putting it out, when we sat down to think of ideas for the music video, I played the song and Eden was like cuddled up next to me and he was like almost asleep and I sang it to Eden and I was like, wait, like I could definitely interpret this as well as to my child because
Right.
even the part that says dos palabras de tu boca que me hagan sentir muy bien, que me enseñen que como mujer no te fallé. If I want to be woman enough for anybody, it's for my son because it's being a mother is a whole other ballpark.
Right, right.
And so the dos palabras could be te amo, you know, it's something as simple as mamá, like
Yeah.
mamá ven, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I saw that. And then a couple days ago, this lady who we've followed each other for a while and we have a lot of friends in common. And I saw when it happened and I gave her my condolences. Her life partner, her husband and father of her children, passed away to cancer. And Ali, he was young. He was young. And that I feel like that hit a little deeper or closer to home.
Yeah.
And she posted the video, and I don't mind correcting myself too.
Right.
She posted the video and she said what I would give to have one more night with him.
Oh,
And she did a collage and the song was Una Noche. And I hadn't heard it or I hadn't thought of it in that aspect. And when I tell you, it broke my heart into pieces and I cried. Then it made me think of my grandfather and I'm like, oh my God, he would have loved this. This was his style. And it just like, it struck a chord in my heart that I really didn't think about. And so many people DM'd me like, oh my God, you know, this song is really going to touch so many people because it's true. You might want one more night, not necessarily with a lover, but a friend, a family member that passed, you know, somebody that you really, really cared for, or, you know, like it could be anyone. And that one broke my heart.
yeah. Yeah, I saw you break down on the live.
I sent that to my manager privately. And she
Yeah.
was like, I really think you need to show people like who you really are. And I was like, I look so ugly. She was like, no. She was like, I think you should show people like because this is where you connect with them
That's right.
the most.
That's right.
And I was like, you know what? It's true. And sometimes some people, because I've seen people comment on other people's posts and say, oh, you know, when you have time to record yourself crying, whatever. But when I did the message for Mel, I didn't think I was going to be sharing it to everyone. So I didn't think I was going to cry either. I thought I was going to be able to like be like, oh my God, did you see that last thing that, because she has access to my account.
Right.
Did you see that last video that just came in? And I just like lost it. I couldn't even finish the sentence.
Oh.
So, but this is what my music, I want it to be therapy. The way music has been therapeutic for me
Yeah.
is what I want my music to be for other people because it's going to help people get through life, through heartbreaks, through, you know, to celebrate good moments and good times. But it's, you know, music could be so universal and awesome.
And it's healing.
It really
Very
is.
healing.
It really is.
Oh my God, Chachi. I'm excited for your SOB's concert.
I would love for all of you guys to go.
No, we're
I
going.
mean, I tend to do this thing that's called sold out. And so I'm just going to put it out there like,
I want Growing Up Latina to have a table. I'm just putting it out there too.
yes, let's do it.
So we're going to do a Growing Up Latina table
Let's do it. I
at
think it would be
SOB's. I want the
awesome.
girls to come out.
I think it would be awesome. I really, we're trying to be very, not strategic, but it's, I want to invite people that were in my life at that time when I wrote it. I want to obviously invite my public and everybody who's seeing this and listening to this. But I also want to invite the people who have never experienced me live.
Right.
Because so many times I've heard through the grapevine, people say, oh, you know, these artists put out such great music, but then live, it's like we're a little disappointed because it's not the same person live.
No, you are.
And so to me, it's like, trust me, if you're going to pay $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, like you're going to get every cent worth. Like
That's right.
the caliber of my band is A1. You know, I'm very like, you know, I like to see productions a certain way. So I hold myself very accountable when I'm doing a production.
Yeah.
So, and I do Spanish, English, old school, new
Everything.
school, new stuff.
You don't
my
discriminate?
Stuff. I don't discriminate. And
You do not
you know,
discriminate.
I think it's going to be an incredible night. SOB's is such a legendary venue. I've been waiting to perform here, and I know they've been waiting to have me. So I think like what's going to happen, the synergy that night, is going to be awesome.
Don't be
It's
crazy.
gonna be awesome.
Before we get out of here, because there is something that you and I do have in common, and I have to shout him out. Yusef. Come on, shout out to PRX.
PRX.
Yes, PRX.
Yes.
So I got introduced to PRX during the pandemic.
Okay.
And I tuned in a little bit before the pandemic, but the pandemic is really when I thrived.
Right.
And I was locked into Yusef. And I told Yusef, I remember I went on live with him and I said, you're not a regular trainer.
No.
Because like you really train like the mind.
Right.
Like it's a mindset thing.
I'm so happy you said this.
Yes. And I always tell him that. I'm like, you don't understand how much you've helped me. Like when you're in that zone, and you know the zone that I'm talking about, because when you first start working out, right, it doesn't automatically like
click in right away.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If it's not the diet, it's the, like,
yeah.
like
and then you're not consistent enough in the beginning. Like you do like 2 days and then that's it. But then something happens after that 3-week period of consistency.
It's a different person.
It's like you're battling yourself.
Right.
It's like me versus me, you versus you. Like it's literally a battle within yourself. And you have documented this entire journey.
Right.
You look amazing.
Thank you, sis. Thank you.
And like, what the hell? Because you're tapped in on a different level.
You know what's funny?
And he pushes you. Shout out to Yusef. We love Yusef.
I love
over
him.
here.
It's a love-hate relationship I have with that man. But he's like, he's not only my trainer, he's a therapist. He
dope.
really is a therapist. So Yusef and I have known each other for like a little over 10 years. And back in the day, he was the first person who ever transformed my body. So he literally gave me my abs. And when I say gave me, it's because he gave me the formula. For my abs, for my definition, how to shred, how to tone, proper form, nutrition, how to help people. So through him, and after working with him sometime, like 10 years ago, I started training people myself in Jersey and helping people. And I've had a lot of clients that they've dropped like 4 or 5 sizes, over 25 pounds. My biggest loser, or my greatest loser, she came down 80 pounds, Lucy. Oof. Now she's living her best life with her 2 children and her man, and she's good. But like she helped me see my potential as well as a trainer or as somebody of influence that can actually like mentor people in like healthier lifestyles or better decisions, right? And so when I hit Yusef up, I didn't want to be the type of pregnant person where I was hard on myself, right? Like I understood that I was over 30. That, I could be at risk. I had a lot of complications when it came to the nausea. The morning sickness was an evening sickness. In the middle of the night sickness, it was always sickness. It wasn't a morning thing. Right. I had crazy nosebleeds.
Oh my God.
I had migraine spells. It wasn't the easiest. So my first trimester, I really couldn't eat. And my third trimester, I had the only freaking heartburn. So my second trimester was where I was able to like indulge. And I asked my husband or my fiance at the time to make me certain dishes that I was craving. My portion control was reasonable and I wasn't, being crazy, but from the lifestyle that I was living prior to being pregnant and working out and having that consistent, in my schedule of working out and being active to barely being able to freaking get up out of bed because all I wanted to do was hug a toilet. It was difficult. I lost the drive of like working out and all this other stuff. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be patient with my body and I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to allow myself grace in this period. And I know that when it's time to get back, I'm going to have to do what I need to do to get back. But we forget how hard it is to get back.
The hardest part is starting.
You know how hard it is to work off an Oreo? You got to be on the freaking Stairmaster for almost 15, 20 minutes at level 5, okay?
Yes.
Okay? Melting to burn the calories that you will eat in one Oreo.
Jeez. And I eat 3 leches, so imagine.
Eat yo with a chef husband.
Yeah, that must have been crazy. But at least you can say, hey, cook me this.
I did. Right? But the baby was a different story. I would then be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So then he changed it up and be like, all right, let me give her what she wants. And, so whatever, that was fine. But then what happens is after I give birth, that it's time to like, get it together. I thought I was going to be cleared way before 6 months to start working out.
Right.
But I had complications during birth. And so I had to wait 6 months to get cleared. Jeez. And then I get cleared and I hit up Yusuf and he's like, I need you to do 1 month of like light cardio, light jog, walking, uphill walking, weights like 3 pounds, 5 pounds, nothing serious. And I'm like, I need to be in there with you now. And he's like, nope, 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 nope. Which was fine at that point. It wasn't a like real crazy thing. I started doing Orange Theory. I started sweating. But then I started yo-yoing. I would lose 5 pounds and I would gain 7. I would lose 3 pounds and I would gain 5. So I was just like, when I contacted him again, this is going to be part of my book. When I contacted him again, I was in a very dark place. Latinos don't talk about postpartum as much as we should. It's not a taboo. It is a chemical imbalance. And we should be able to speak freely about this subject and not be judged and not be made fun of and not be, you know, mocked or oh, she's being a big baby or like, it is very serious.
It's
like,
real. It's a real thing.
Very real. And I remember, I think it was around the 23rd of August.
The fact that you remember dates is crazy to me.
Because it mattered, because it did something to me. Because it stood with me forever.
Right.
And I swear he was my lifeline that day. I'm gonna cry.
Oh. Well, I mean, so you called him and said,
I was so uncomfortable. I hated the way I looked. I was uncomfortable. I had all this weight on me, so I felt heavy, but I also felt heavy inside. Like it wasn't just a physical burden.
yeah.
I was carrying a lot. I didn't let go of God, and I made sure that he was there with me throughout the whole time because that's how I was able to get by that moment. But I really called Yusuf on some like, I need this more than you know, and you don't even know how much I need this. And he was like, I got you. And I started the beginner challenge, and I've been with them for literally a year now, and I came down my 50 pounds. I'm back at my pre-baby weight. Now we're toning.
Yeah.
He calls it the revenge body. That's what we're going for, revenge body. But he was an incredible and pivotal person that maybe didn't know how much he was helping me at the moment, but I could say thank you now because I was, I have a great partner, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy, Ali. I was not. It was a really weird place to be. And none of my friends ever spoke about this, about having postpartum or about like, so I even felt weird calling them because I felt like I was being a big baby. I know I could be a little emotional. I love expressing how I feel, but I wasn't expecting postpartum to hit me the way it did. It was like a culmination of things, you know?
So how do you take control back of your life during that time?
Logic over emotion. Tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Asking my husband to help me and sacrifice his mornings. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning every morning to go work out. I'm back in the house by 8:30. They're waking up by the time I get back.
Wow.
So he holds it down for me so that I can, you know, do that. And it was everything I also needed at that time because it was therapeutic mentally, but physically as well. And I feel like the gym is the one place where your effort will give you results. When you half-ass it, it will show as well. And so the discipline that one has to have with oneself, you know, of like wanting something bad enough to like really like on the prize, tunnel vision, you know, like it was a beautiful moment. It was a dark, beautiful moment.
I remember I had a friend, Yesenia, and I was in a similar place. I just wasn't happy. And even in my career, I'm like, why are things not happening for me? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm putting in all this work. Like, it's just not happening. And I just remember she told me something, and it just always stuck with me. She said, you know what, Allie? You should work out. And I'm like, girl, I'm talking to you about my career. You telling me to work out? Like, she's like, I honestly feel if you work out and you see if you see the results that hard work can get you, then you will apply that to everything in your life. And that was such a game changer. So every time I feel like I'm in a slump or like things are not happening, I just remember like, okay, I remember when I was working out, it didn't happen right away. But then there's a period where it's like, Because you don't even see it first.
And people be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, people be
Flaquita?
like, damn,
you look good.
And you're like, really? And then you start to see it and you become so
Obsessed
addicted.
with it.
Yeah,
Obsessed with it.
Yes. And you're
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not stopping.
When I started seeing like I don't really like to weigh myself, but I made sure that I did weigh myself throughout just so that I could show people, you know, like what my journey was,
Yeah, what your
right?
journey
That it
was.
wasn't like a 2-month thing, that it took me a year to come down those 55 pounds, right? 50. So where was I? Sorry. Mom brain. That's another thing they didn't tell me about.
I actually heard that you
I'd
were
be feeling
talking
like
about.
Dory from freaking Nemo. I'd be like, what was I talking about? My biggest fear is forgetting my lyrics online. I'm like, oh my God,
You gotta have the thing.
You imagine? I'm gonna, like the floor prompter, I'm gonna have to use that.
You have to use that.
Where was I?
We were talking about working out. We're talking about how you become obsessed. And you were
Yes.
saying in your journey, you say you don't usually weigh yourself.
Right. I like to fit my clothes. My clothes is what tells me if I'm
Oh,
coming
yeah.
down.
That's
So what I do
absolutely.
is like I'll either buy something or for example, my pre-pregnancy clothes, I'm starting to fit it all over again. And I'm like, great. Which is, you know, it's beautiful. It wasn't a snapback like people, you know, like some people are blessed with the genetics and the DNA that they snap back and they don't even look like they had a child and the baby's like a week old. God bless them. God bless all of them.
Those moms.
Shout out to them and God bless them all. But we also can't put this image to society that that's normal. That is not normal.
Right.
So the pressure that we're already feeling from baby blues and from hormonally giving birth, it's like literally the biggest hormonal fluctuation in a human body is when a woman, after she gives birth.
Yeah.
Like what happens in order for us to regulate our system back to us and not as a vessel for the baby, it's taxing.
Yeah.
And so being able to fit my clothes and being able to like, you know, be back and kind of like even see myself like I'm back, I'm putting music out, I'm feeling like myself again because I didn't feel like myself.
Yeah.
And I felt beautiful when I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I was very comfortable in my skin and my body. And every time I looked at my child, he would totally make everything disappear and vanish. So it was the moments where he wasn't like right next to me, or I was awake at 3 a.m. pumping, and I'm just like, you know, thinking, and I didn't have to put myself through the mental turmoil that I did, but postpartum comes with intrusive thoughts and thoughts that I wouldn't think like that normally. I wouldn't think so negative or dark. That's not me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to bring that over here. And so having all these like moments that like were intrusive was like, I don't have control of my own thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was not cool. So that's where I would pray. But I feel like real talk, what saved me was working out. What saved me was waking up every morning and having my trainer kick my ass, not be easy on me, but also listen to me. Because there was days where I broke down and I couldn't fight back the tears or hold them. And I would just bust out into tears or start crying. And it's like, when he asks, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Whatever. I have to open up because that's the only way you release and you feel better. And so the fact that he was, you know, a great listener, just putting things into perspective and kind of like, you know, motivating me, encouraging me, and like making me part of his project.
Yeah.
To like bring me back, kind of, you know, it's personal.
Yeah, it is personal.
It's personal. So
I love that.
revenge body.
I love that. Shout out to you,
Revenge
Seth.
body.
Are you ready for my rapid fire?
Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
I think so.
You're ready.
I'm always ready for you, boo.
Even though I was supposed to start off the interview with my question, but then it's like, you're my friend, so like, how can I start the interview like that? But these are all rapid fire. What do you remember from La Sala growing up?
Besides the plastic on the
The platico.
I think it was the they used to call them capias too, remember? Like if you went to a birthday party or a baby shower, the capias.
Oh my God.
I remember the big old TV that the antenna was a little messed up.
my
and so sometimes we
God.
had to like move it a certain way to make it work, or tap it on the side so that the channel could click.
Yep.
And I think I told you this before too. It's the scent of my grandmother's kitchen. because it would just be all over the house. So whether I was in my room, whether we were in the living room or wherever, literally the moment you walked into the house, going up the stairs, you could already smell the sofrito and the food and the kitchen.
You know, I would always
So-
legit smell like food going to school.
Me too. It was a little embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
But-
like people were like, why you smell like food? I'm like, mommy, open the window.
Right. I think it would have to be that. It would have to be that.
Okay. Tell me you're Latina without telling me you're Latina.
You can't tell. You can't see all this cha-cha, va-va-voo. You can't see it because I dressed up for y'all today.
Yes.
I mean, I eat pork chops and pollo frito and
Yes.
chicharrón de pollo.
Yes.
You know, like it's. I think it's my personality. It's
Definitely.
even if I introduce myself as Grizel, and they start to get to know me, they're like, she's Latin.
Yeah.
She's spicy.
What is something you would want to work on that you haven't already?
It's what we just embarked, like literally 2 weeks ago, this one woman show, which is also something that I've been sitting on and that I knew I wanted to do a long time ago. And I kind of psyched myself out of it. So being like actually in the process of like creating and making the story from scratch, like I've been wanting to do this one for a while.
I can't wait for it.
While. I think it's the best place to show how much of a triple threat badass I am.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not just a singer, it's a dancer, it's an actor. The gift of being able to move people and touching people without physically touching them. I mean,
Yeah.
and theater
That's a
does
skill
that.
set.
Theater does that.
Mm-hmm.
It's different from TV and film where they could say cut. Like,
And plus, you don't even see one-woman shows. Like, I don't think the only
No.
person was John Leguizamo.
well, I'm excited as a New
Yeah,
Yorker.
so
You know,
I'm
I was
excited for you.
born, raised in Newark, New Jersey, but New York has always been the stomping grounds and the backyard. So as a New Yorker in this day and age, like I think we need to see more of it. And I
Yeah.
know there's so much talent up and coming that they need to see
Mm-hmm.
people like them doing what they're capable of. So
What is this chapter of your life called?
it's called Love and Grace because
Love that.
it's
I love that.
grace is it's a beautiful word, right? But
Mm-hmm.
ooh, holding on to your grace when you don't want to, when you want to really exude or let people know how you feel, or you know, like and being graceful,
Mm-hmm.
also being patient with yourself. Like when I wanted to be skinny the next day after giving birth, but allowing myself grace to have the moment, live the life, be able to still bask in the things that I love, enjoy my son, remind myself that something beautiful came out of this body, that I'm so very grateful for this temple. Being graceful is difficult.
Mm-hmm. It is.
You know, smack a hole real quick. You can't do that, right? So being graceful is very important.
Now I'm gonna ask
Let's
you
not
this.
forget, because hello.
I gotta put a little twist on this one because of your husband.
Oh.
What is your favorite dish that Chef Kelvin cooks for you?
It is the chorizo arepa eggs Benedict.
Damn, you said that mad quick. Jesus Christ.
Because his arepas are award winning.
Yes.
We already know that.
Yes.
He has the truffle one, the chicken one, the beef one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this one, you guys haven't tried this. Like this would be part of his like restaurant, or this would be part of his pop-ups. This is like his like art. Like this
Yeah.
is him writing a song, you know? So
Yeah.
it's a fusion of like buttery, crispy, salty, sweet, spicy, which is all like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean his arepas are award winning, so but I have to
Come on.
say, I was put onto something else that I hadn't tried in the past, and I was put onto it like maybe a year and a half ago while I was pregnant, which is gandules in a coconut sauce.
Mm.
You just want
Game changer.
You want to exfoliate yourself
Game
with all of it. All of it. You're just like, oh my God, it's so delicious. So that was something that I never knew. And when I had it, my palate was like, whoosh, like, whoa, where has this
Yeah.
been my whole life? So, yeah,
Okay.
I'll say that.
Let's see. Last question. Finish this sentence.
Oof.
Growing up Latina is?
Growing up Latina is everything. It's everything. And I wouldn't change it. if I had the opportunity to change it, I would not change where I come from, how I grew up, the music, my people, our culture. And when I say our, it's not just a Puerto Rican, it's a Cuban, it's a Dominican, it's Panamanian, it's Mexican, it's Ecuadorian, Salvadorian. Like it's a mixture. It's a big old a salsa, a pot of all these different nationalities. And I'm I'm proud of who we are as immigrants. When we come here to this country and we make it do what it do, I'm proud of how resilient we are as people. And when we get nose and closed doors, we go up through the window and we gonna make a way, we gonna find it.
Yeah.
If we don't have it, we'll make it. Like
Yeah.
how resilient we are. And so if I had another option to be anything but Latina, I think I'd choose Latina again.
Ooh, I love you.
That was a good one.
I love you.
I love you.
I don't even want to say anything else. Like, I feel like that's the way we're going to end. But I will say thank you.
You're welcome, my love.
Thank you for being my first guest. Thank you for being my first returned guest. And thank you for always supporting me.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's so important. Like, you have really just seen the vision even before I actually really saw it for myself. So thank you so much. We're going to support you. We will be at SOBs.
Yes.
Okay. We are downloading. We are buying whatever. Anything you serving us,
Thank you.
we're taking it.
Thank you. It means, especially as an independent artist, it means the world to me because we don't come with a big label. We don't come with a big machine behind us. We can, and we will eventually. But right now, independently, like it's very in-house. So I know people might think like, oh, download or repost. It might seem minute, but it really makes a world of a difference on this end. So I appreciate you. Thank you for always, thank you for thinking of me, of being your first guest. And it's an honor, like I said, to see your growth. And I can't wait to see what the future has for you, for real.
Thank you. I love you.
And I will be singing at your wedding.
You already know.
Now make space. Let me see your hands. Okay,
Not
good.
yet.
Okay, good. No, you can't put a ring on that finger because you can't confuse the universe.
No.
So you got to leave that empty.
But I have this like this.
Okay.
Like the heart
Bring it
outwards.
In. Bring it in.
I should change it
Bring
in.
it in.
Okay, heart inwards. All right, Grizel
Del Valle.
del Valle. I was gonna put La Chachi in there. La Chachi. Make sure you guys support her. Share your socials.
At Chachi Nation on Instagram. TikTok is Grizel del Valle, which is my full name. When you guys look for my music as well, look for it with Grizel del Valle. Until the album comes out. La Chachi is a different story. But you can also go to Chachi Nation, chachination.com. It's already up.
Love you.
I love you.
Thank you.